Welcome everyone to the Friday night. Oh shit! Sorry, the Wednesday night live show. That's the day on. That is the
2
day
days.
I'm
2 days
having.
behind and
I
different
wish it were.
show.
I
John's
wish it
having
was
a rough
Friday.
day.
I'm having one of those grandkid days. We have our main topic tonight is things that didn't work. So I think sharing our experiences with products that didn't help us quit smoking is important for future smokers. I want to get all this out because I got a little hate. Sharing our side effects, moods, and yes, maybe some success. I'm sure there are some people out there that have had some success with some of these products. So we're going to talk about that. And then let me just say, all tobacco harm reduction is important because it's you have finally made the decision to better your life. So we're not shitting on any of these products. We're just sharing our experiences, our moods, what happened to us during the process of wearing the patch or taking one of these drugs. So just kind of just sharing our thoughts with you guys and just what we experienced. So again, we're not shitting on any harm reduction products that are out there. Like I said, some people have had a shit ton of success with it. Great for them. But we're just going to share our experiences. With that being said, Timmy, how is your week going? I got to move you back over because
there you go. You fucking you fucked up the whole crowd. They're like, John's on Tim's side. It's like we sleep on. It's like we share a bed or some shit. Like I sleep on the left and you sleep on the right. Cut it out. Cut
stop
it out.
it.
I know. While you were talking, I tried to climb through the screen, but it didn't work. At any rate, yeah, I kind of did one of those. I kind of stood up and tried to pull myself over to the other side, but it didn't work. I was trying to slide the slide over. Just another week in paradise, full-time job and solving everybody else's problems, or they think their problem is a problem that we caused, so they send us emails and then we go, no, it was something you did. So
it's nice to get paid though for solving other people's problems.
But I think that's really kind of what we do in jobs all day long anyway. So I mean, really, kind of whether you're in the commercial sector or the public sector or whatever, we all factor into customer service in one way or another. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and we all have that supervisor that takes all the credit.
No, I'm not a supervisor and or a manager anymore. I feel like a Best Buy employee now. Like I have this really fancy title, but I feel like all I do is walk around in a blue shirt and just go that one.
I can see Tim walking through the warehouse and after he presents his great idea that everyone else sold him on, and then he just walks in and goes, boom, yeah.
No, usually the rest of the room goes, no, it's not that great of an idea. Next. So yeah, nothing new, nothing fancy.
That's good.
I got this really cool little squishy ball.
There you go. See, that's the tension ball. The tension ball.
I got a little,
Is that for the commute from your bedroom to the kitchen?
It kind of makes
it's just so stressful. I need the ball.
It kind of makes this weird sound. I don't know.
Tim,
I don't know.
It's
somewhat soothing. Show. I don't know. Hey, it's all I got right now. It's all I got, John.
That's a sound effect for the Friday Night BS show.
There you go.
Oh, Allison, how is your week going?
It's going pretty good. Spent the beginning of the week home sick with my son. He wasn't feeling well, but he's back to school today, and I'm catching up all my work that I missed Monday and Tuesday. So it was busy today, super busy.
Yeah. Have you written out your speech yet for your tour, the bus tour? You written that? Are you gonna just wing it, or you got something?
I think I'm gonna just wing it. Honestly,
bring it from here. Bring it from here. That's good.
That's usually the best.
Yeah. And my week can tell. That's all I'm saying. It's Renell. So Timmy, say hello to everybody in the chat, will you?
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to chew bubble gum and walk at the same time.
You're
asking too much. You're asking too much of a blonde right now.
That could be dangerous at our age.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of the Wednesday Night Live Show. You're right. It is Wednesday. It is the Wednesday Night Live Show. And so we're going to say hello. Yeah, let's just get that out of the way. Let's start from the bottom and work our way north like we always do.
Yeah.
And for the record, there is no troll named LabWorks right now, so he'll be here a little later. Marcy, good to see you. How are you? Welcome to the show. Curtis Clemens, you and your BP. Michael Redfern, good to see you. Bruni, good to see you in the chat log there. Welcome to the show. Daryl, always great to see you, man. Thanks for coming back, and thanks for sharing your little story right there. You're right along the subject line that we're going to talk about tonight.
Will.
So
I'm going to star that one. So
yeah, absolutely. Put it. Oh, I saw your little blue star come up. You just got starred, Daryl.
You got starred.
You got starred, bro. I already said hi to Curtis.
Don't do it twice.
Well, there's a lot of Curtises. There is a lot of Curtises right now. Prof. Millicky, good to see you. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show. Redden, welcome back. Good to see you, bud. Stu Rep, Pam Spraggins, hello. And I don't know who this StreamYard person is at the top, but you should kick him.
For real?
I'm joking. It's the default comment that's up there at the top. So thanks everybody for coming to the show tonight.
Yeah, I am going to do something here real quick because I did change it to private, and I want to make sure this works. So those of you that are on
Dylan,
Dylan. Yeah, that are on my private Facebook page, make sure this works and see if test comes up. There it goes. Okay, it's working. So if you comment on there, I already wrote a nasty email to StreamYard and they deleted it. But hopefully they figure it out, because if they don't, I'm leaving StreamYard to something else. But let's get into it. Let's get into this part of it right here. Let me open this up. Present, share screen.
Oh, we forgot Mallory.
Oh, Mallory. I didn't even see Mallory.
Tim.
Wait, hold on. Wait for further comment. Hold on 1 second.
Tim.
Wait for confirmation.
She's there. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. It says you forgot.
Oh, I totally missed her. She was right underneath the StreamYard comment. God dang it, Mallory, you freaking ninja.
And I will put the links to that in there in the page there. Actually, it's in the header. So if you click on that, it'll take you to it's actually just wevote.org, guys. So head on over there. The 22 bus tour is in full effect. Where were they today? We said they were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So yeah. Then Bethlehem, Scranton, and the list goes on. And then don't forget, if you really want to meet Allison, where do they go, Allison?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Charleston, yes, Charleston, Carolina. So guys, if you want to find these locations and just go to their page, click on them. There's a full map there. It'll show you where the location is, what time they're going to be there, the address, everything is there. And hope that you guys get out there and support this cause. And we don't want to share that yet, because that's
don't share that.
That's coming up. All right, that's coming up. We got that out of the way. Actually, is there anything else you want to share about the tour, Allison? Do you know any special details coming up or anything like that?
Well, I have reached out to every single candidate, every single representative. I haven't heard anything back from anyone. But we do have a local a radio host. She's super popular. She's been on the radio for I think like 20 years. She got the keys to the city in Charleston. She's going to be covering it. I think she's going to do some interviews that she can post on her radio show too, following the tour during the week, which is really nice. So I don't know. Hopefully we'll get surprised and some people will show up. But so far, as far
you guys expect a pretty good outing there in Charleston, or
I think
all the
it's gonna be
shops.
good. Yeah, definitely. The customers will show up, and all the employees that aren't working that day will show up, I'm sure. But I think getting somebody there, that can let the adult vapors know that they at least we're being heard would be nice.
Yeah, I was going to ask Amanda, but you should know. Are they handing out any literature at these tours? There's any pamphlets that they're handing out or anything like that? Or
I'm not sure. I think that they're doing mostly interviews with customers and employees, and I think that kind of stuff speaks for itself. The personal stories of how these actual adults quit.
Yeah, I think they are handing literature to the politicians, though.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're handing them testimonials.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, I was thinking maybe they had some brochures that are already made up to how who to vote for, what to look for in elections and stuff like that, and
I
why.
don't know if anybody's necessarily, with the exception of a few, actually come out and said, "I'm
Yeah,
pro vaping."
yeah. So let's jump into the main topic. So we're going to break these down into individual categories of THR, and we're going to start with cold turkey, and then I put the patches, nicotine gum, sprays, and lozenges all together in one thing. Hypnosis, drugs, and counseling. Because Tim brought up, I didn't know there was counseling support groups that are out there, so that's a thing. So that I don't remember having any of those when I just 10 years ago, anybody talking about any. I had AA meetings, but I don't think they had anything for that. So cold turkey, guys, cold turkey. It says independent scientific studies conducted shows that excess rate of 3.4% for cold turkey. That sounds about right. I mean, yeah.
Do you have a graphic to go along with that?
No, there are no graphics for these, Tim. That's what I was saying. There's no brand new graphics, just written, just something written, but nothing to show. Well, I have that one, but it's old. It's 2017, 2018. So
yeah, I'd have to say probably cold turkey is probably the least most effective way. Only because none of this really works until you really kind of have some willpower behind any of the motivation to quit in the first place. First, you have to tell yourself you want to quit, and then you have to pick a method that works the best for you. And I just think cold turkey comes with too many pitfalls, like stress and shit in life, and it's just too easy to have that massive withdrawal once you hit a red line.
I think we've all attempted it. I think we've all either for ourselves or for, family members and stuff like that. And I think I'm sure we all know at least a few people that were successful. I know quite a few people that were pretty successful at it, haven't touched it. I don't know if they have never touched it again, but they've been pretty successful. They, cold turkey. My brother is one of them. He got me started to smoking. And then as soon as I started smoking, he stopped. And then he did it with a bar straw. He just kept a straw in his mouth the whole time. Those little tiny cocktail straws, and he chewed on that shit until it was nothing left. He'd throw it away, grab another one, and I don't think my brother Phil's ever touched a cigarette ever since the '80s, late '80s. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, what kind of a mood were you in that first 24 hours, Allison, when you tried cold turkey?
Don't come anywhere near me.
Don't touch me.
Don't look at me. Don't breathe at me. Don't even no.
It's like, don't touch me. Don't look at me. I mean, for me, that first attempt at the cold turkey, it was really high. I went in with it like my ego, you know what I mean? It's like, I got this. I can do this. I can go, if I can go just, back then it was, if you can get 24 hours, you can do it. And I figured I got this. I had 24 hours. And man, I was just the absolute. My ex-wife said, please start smoking again. That's how bad I was. She's like, just go back.
Just
Go back to smoking. How about you, Tim? What was your mood like when you tried that first time?
It sucked just because you were kind of typically more angry than you normally would be. Things would piss you off, and I think that's I don't know if that's part of the mental anguish of like realizing you just made a tough decision and that you're like on a hairline fracture, you know what I mean, and that you could break at any moment and want that cigarette really bad, and you're so focused that it's like, here's a way to parallel it. Maybe how when you're driving down the road in your car, and then people, like all this activities going on around you. So like, what's the first thing that you do rather than address the issue? Like you turn your radio down, somehow if I turn the radio down to a whisper, somehow I'll overcome whatever this challenge is. And I kind of feel like it's the reverse for going cold turkey. But I mean, ultimately there's the other ramifications, right? And it's the other part that we might not like about this, and that, you lose that hand to mouth connection.
Yep.
So typically you need something else to replace the void, right? So chewing gum, people chew gum as one obvious thing. The other thing is just eating in general. And then you start packing on the pounds. And if you're weight conscious already, or you're concerned about your weight, and you realize that all you're doing is shoving food in your face, yeah, that pisses you off too. So now you're like double mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't even bring up the eating part. Shit, I was just constantly having, and but that's even back in the early 90s. That's what I was told. Just keep eating, as long as you're not smoking. And I'm like, yeah, but obesity sucks, man. I keep eating like this, I'm going to be huge.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, for me, I was in a truck, so it was hard. And then it seemed like, and this is, maybe it didn't seem like it's now to me, but back then it seemed like there was an ashtray fucking everywhere, and everybody had a cigarette, and everybody was constantly smoking. And when you're in the trucking business, everybody smokes. Every truck driver smokes, and it was like I would get into the cab of the truck to do an inspection and all, and I could tell. I got to the point where it's like Marlboro, Camels. Salem's, I knew from the smell that, it got bad. It got bad. And hey, if you can do it cold turkey and you can keep your weight down and keep your loved ones from still loving you and not have every person that you work for pissed off and wanting to kill you. I mean, that's the tough part. I mean,
and did we all actually recognize the fact that we risked death trying to stay away from dying?
Yeah. I mean, we were just, and it was funny because somebody brought it up when I was talking about doing this thing, and I think I read it too, where he talked about the hand thing, and it was psychological that, here we are, to think back to what happened and how you felt at 2 a.m. in the morning when you ran out of cigarettes, and the measures that you went to go get a pack of cigarettes. And I started thinking about that like back in the day. And I'm like, I remember walking like 2 miles to 7-Eleven just to get a pack of cigarettes, at 2 o'clock in the morning because I got up and there was no cigarettes left. And it's crazy what we'll do just to get a cigarette back then. I mean, did you do anything like that? Did you like drive far distance at 2 o'clock in the morning, or to try to find a store that was open to buy a pack of cigarettes?
Allison?
I was underage, so I would walk to the corner store and ask truckers to buy cigarettes for me and my best friend. And then my mom caught me doing that. And then I really almost died. But then my mom started buying, my mom started buying cigarettes for me because she was so worried that I was going to get kidnapped by a trucker and murdered, that she would rather have me smoke than hang out at a truck stop asking truckers.
Yeah, that's crazy that you did that. That is super fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if I actually made any late night, forays to a convenience store to get cigarettes. But I feel like smoking for me was sort of a clandestine activity when I was living at home with my parents, because I started when I was 15. So I wasn't that far off from moving out anyway.
Yeah.
But I think by the time I actually was out of the house, I never really thought too much about stupid stuff like getting up in the middle of the night to go to the convenience store to get cigarettes. It was just like, that's just part of my life now. I got to have one when I wake up. So I got to do something now anyway.
You smoked the old butts in the ashtray, Tim, till there was nothing left.
I'm sure I probably did try to pull a rabbit out of my hat a couple times just to kind of get through, or make sure that like when your friend drops you off and you realize you're totally out, make sure you go, hey man, can I get a couple just to get me through the night?
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. So, I think everyone still has to try to make that attempt, wouldn't you say? I think if you're going to quit smoking, it's still something maybe you should try. You don't know if you're going to be successful or not, but at least you'll get a good general idea of what kind of mood you're going to be in, and something I didn't even think about, but afterwards, when I was talking to my buddy, and he said what they tell people now that cold turkey is to write down when they get those urges so they can understand the time periods, the time during the day that you feel that you need it the most. So I didn't think about that, but that kind of makes sense. Is, you know, when you really wanted a cigarette and you were cold turkey, if you would have just took the time to write it down, you probably see that pattern that you have done your whole smoking career. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I remember I would smoke like 3 cigarettes before I got in my truck, because I didn't smoke in my truck from my house to work. And then I would have 2, 3 cigarettes in front of the gate because we weren't allowed to smoke on property. So I just started going through my pattern, and I realized I was like smoking a half a pack of cigarettes just before getting to work.
Yeah. I think I did that, a little bit of that too. Like right before I'd walk in the office, I would smoke like 2 really quick because I knew that I wouldn't be able to come back out for a while. Here's another way of thinking about it. I don't know if anybody kind of tried to willpower their way this way, but one thing I did when I first tried cold turkey was you got to find some justification in your mind. So I would try to find a relative event that would make me go, okay, if I can make it that long, then maybe I can push myself and make it a little bit longer. So one example would be a really long plane trip. Like say you're flying, East Coast to West Coast, and you'd be like, okay, I can't smoke now for like 4.5 hours, let alone the time that I'm in the friggin' airport to the time I exit the airport. So it's probably 5 plus. And so then I would say, hey, you know what? I pulled that off for 5 hours. If I can do it for 5 hours, I could probably do it for 7 or 8, but cold turkey's a hard one, man.
It's a hard bitch. It's a bitch. But like I said, we're not shitting on any of these. If it works, it works. Give it a try. You, like I said, see what kind of mood you're in, see what you're frustrated about, and maybe, plan the next day ahead. Say, this is when I'm moody between this time. Mornings suck. I think we've all been through that no cigarette in the morning thing with our coffee. I mean, that was the tough one for me. Let's jump into this next one real quick here. We've all used them. Show of hands. Everybody used. I used everything except the sprays. I thought I couldn't do it. I couldn't spray something in my mouth. It was just a weird feeling.
That's not me. I'm on the never tried any of that crowd.
Yeah, you surprised me. I thought you seemed like the guy that would have went through this whole thing before getting to vaping.
No,
like you come off to me as someone that researches the shit out of things before he does them. And
I don't know that ever looking at any of the gums. I mean, I used to see the commercials all the time, and they were talking about, that it was some kind of a program, and I would ask questions about it, like, what does it involve? Like, because I wasn't really sure, like, what, in this case, oral nicotine consumption in the form of like kind of having it absorb into your body a different way rather than it just kind of being, injected into your lungs. So, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I always kind of felt like this stuff was always behind a glass case or something. And it was like, I don't want to go get somebody. And I feel weird. It's like, that
Walgreens. I could see Tim at Walgreens.
That for me was like, kind of like, like the generic guy's experience with having to go get his chick tampons or something.
Oh yeah,
it's like
pantyhose. And
yeah,
tampons.
it's like I don't want to be that red beacon over on aisle 4 that had to get the guy with the key to open up the patch, the gum nicotine glass case, and now everybody knows that I'm, So, but what's so bad about it, right? You were going to be trying to quit.
Yeah, so. You're going to try to quit. Yeah. Yeah, I tried the patches, and the patches just made me feel really, really weird the whole time. I wasn't like in an angry mood. I just felt slow, like really slow, and everything was just in slow motion for me. And it was just, as some people say, that's kind of like you're getting into that depression mode, and that's what scared me. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to get depressed from using a fucking patch. I mean, that's not going to happen. So I stopped using them. And I forget what milligrams I was using. They're not a lot. I think the highest ones are like only 3 milligrams, right? I think. I don't know if they make them a bit more now. No.
I thought I thought it was like a step down program. I thought that basically you kind of went in a little high and then they kind of weaned you down, but maybe it was more time in between using one. Maybe that was the way they did.
There's no step down. Yeah, there's no step down. They're all the same milligrams, I think, right? I think that was what I read. Well, the success rate for the nicotine patch, nicotine gum, sprays, and lozenges is less than 10%. So it's kind of like, to me, I look at that as like a win-win for the pharmaceutical company because they're going to sell a shit ton of gum, a shit ton of patch, because they just keep going back. I've seen people like they know it doesn't work. They stop for a couple months and then they go back on it again. And I'm just thinking to myself, it didn't work. Why do you continue to go back to these things, And the patches aren't cheap. Patches aren't cheap. How did you feel when you used them, Allison?
I think for me, the patches within like the first like hour or two of having it on, I felt super jittery. And like, I think it's just because it's like directly into your, I know it's supposed to be like time release, but I don't believe, how can you do that with a patch? Like, so I just feel like a lot of it goes right into your bloodstream there and you get like that initial buzz. But that gave me rashes on my arms. And then we tried the gum because I mean, I had a blood clot at 30, so I didn't want to quit or try any of this stuff. My hematologist was like, we're going to start with this. It didn't work. Okay. Now we do it. This didn't work, whatever. The gum, it gave me mouth sores. Like it's peppery and gross. And like, I literally like had like
canker sores.
Yeah. Like I bit my own, like the inside of my mouth. That was awful. And then I just kind of gave up on that avenue and didn't try anything else or the sprays or the lozenges because I just was so turned off by the experience with both of those items.
Yeah. I mean, it was funny as I knew the guy. You could tell the guy that just started using the gum. If you ever, I don't know if you paid attention, but they were always chomping on it. Yeah, like they're ready.
They're after a minute. Like
they're ready to kill you.
Hey, bro, you got any of that? You got any of that?
They're ready to kill you, man. It's like, oh, they start popping and fucking gun. They're just, I'm like, dude, seriously, man.
I want to come back to Redden at one point. If we address, he just brought up an interesting one, so I'm curious to get kind of a
was it this one?
Yeah, a live poll, right? Because I've seen. I mean, snus is obviously a thing that's out there. I don't think anybody is unfamiliar with the snus from Sweden. So my question isn't so much about using snus as a tobacco harm reduction method. I was more curious about the Zyn patches because we've talked about them before. We've shown pictures of them before. I don't think anybody on the show. Well, obviously we haven't needed to try them. I mean, obviously there's an application for it, like when he can't vape, he carries Zyn for places where he can't vape. So that kind of makes sense. I was just curious if that was something that was in some element of popularity. Is that included in any of your statistical reporting, John?
I saw nothing on sniff at all. So I mean, I remember
like snus and patches.
I didn't see anything. Yeah, I didn't see anything. There was no mention of it. The big top ones were the ones that came up on the study, which was the patches, the gum, and the sprays and the lozenges. That's it.
Because that's what's made by Big Pharma.
Right. Well, this is that's probably a tobacco product, so tobacco company product.
I know that PMTA, they approved one snus product. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think that was the first thing to get approval other than that IQOS or whatever it is.
Can you see, this is on me. Can you buy it here?
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've never seen it in any stores.
Snus, no, but I know that Zyn is available here, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it at the airport when I flew from
that's a smart
from here to Miami. Yeah.
That's good marketing right there.
All right. So just throwing a random number that I happen to stumble across, I'll try to get you more information. It says that there were 24 people who used the nicotine pouch. So something like Zyn, 4 were quit. Only 16.6% of those 24 people actually quit using the pouch. And a further 2 subjects had smoked less than 2 cigarettes. Among smokers with no history of oral tobacco use, the nicotine pouch appears more satisfying and enjoyable and is chosen twice as often as snus, but may be less effective for cessation. So I don't know. We're looking for a test subject that is like, I quit on Zyn.
Yeah.
I quit with Zyn.
Now, again, that's the stuff you snort in your nose, right?
No, snus, yes.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah, I
Snus
remember we
is
did a thing on it. Yeah.
right. And I also think that snus, Reddit, correct me if I'm wrong. I do know that snus is kind of like you put it like on your hand and you kind of like put it up your nose kind of stuff. But I also think that I think it's also in
a pouch.
like pouches that like, kind of, snus. Right. Well, we pulled up pictures before of snus
we did.
in a canister, and I do know that there is a kind that's like really granulated, and you actually like inhale it into your nose. I guess
they have pouches too, though. Yeah, that you put in between like your lip.
Yeah, because I feel like that's more of a UK Europe kind of a product, right? I don't think like I said, I've never seen it at the convenience store, the tobacco store, nothing. I've never seen any of that stuff. And because when you brought it up the first time, Tim, when we did that thing on it, I didn't even remember seeing it. I just never seen any of that stuff, and I'm not sure I want to snort something in my nose.
I think the pouches are honestly.
Oh, I don't think that's probably a
yeah.
I mean, I'm the pouches seem reasonable, but I'm sure that's kind of. I almost feel like if that's a patch, I think that's more. Do you think it's more designed around the chewer than more than the smoker? Like to help. Yeah, I think so, because that's the thing I've had a hard time. I still have not successfully converted a chewer to vaping. They have all quit or do both. Or they'll do both. Chewing is just I can't imagine having to try to quit chewing. And you can throw out all the statistics to those guys. They don't care. They're just, I'll have a hole in the side of my cheek. I go, fuck, if you want to live like that, go ahead, And I have still several friends of mine that have been chewing since high school, and they still swallow it. They swallow it. And I'm just like, dude, your stomach right now has got to look like fucking the dump, the dump at any New York City dump inside your stomach. But yeah, I tried all the except the spray. I couldn't do it. I couldn't spray it. It just didn't feel right spraying something in my mouth like that, and it tasted like shit. No flavors, people. No flavors.
Well, that's the worst part, is that they are flavored and they still taste like shit.
Yeah. Whatever flavor it was, it didn't have a very pleasant taste to it. So it almost made me kind of sort of gag. But the patches, like I said, I felt like I was getting depressed, and it just like everything was in slow motion for me. I don't know if it was just I was getting too much of it, and I didn't. I was told don't do both, and I made sure I never did both. If I were going to take a cigarette, if I got to the point where I wanted a cigarette, I removed the patch. But I think that doesn't really help, because you're already kind of absorbed most of it, and now you're putting 22 milligrams or whatever it is per cigarette into your body. So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, it just, again, we're not shitting on any harm reduction, guys. So if this works, I know, do you, any of you guys know anyone that's been successful with the patch? Tough one, huh?
You know what? Probably along the way, conversation has come up in a group, and somebody went, I quit with the patch. You know what I mean? But it was such a low number in relativity to the long-term memory kind of log. Like, oh yeah, my aunt quit with the patch, or no, not like that.
Yeah.
Real quick, looked up Nicorette gum online.
Yeah.
It comes in 2 milligram and 4 milligram.
2
in
and
case
4
you wanted to know. And Zyn pouches, you can order online. They are $3.89 a can, and they come in 3 or 6.
Not that I want to try it, but if I'm happy with
I would be willing to. So they have menthol. Citrus.
What? They have menthol?
They might be listening, John. They have menthol, citrus, smooth, whatever that means. I guess that's tobacco. Chill, which I guess is another ice version. Cinnamon, coffee.
Oh, cinnamon's got to be disgusting.
Well, maybe. Coffee. I don't know. Redden can comment on which ones do you use, Redden? Wintergreen, cool mint, spearmint, peppermint. John, you are all about the mints.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
So where I would probably say I might pick up a couple of these cans just for the
Just now?
No, not well. I'm already in a form of cessation right now, so I don't need them. I don't need them
You can
anymore to
use
get
them
away
on
from
those long plane trips.
Well, right. That's
Yeah.
my whole point. I want to
Yeah.
have it for those moments when I can't. Here's another thing. I have to get on Zoom calls now, and sometimes those things last like 2 freaking hours. And I work at home. So what am I doing on a
You
Zoom
just
call?
do this number, man.
I'm like this on the Zoom call the whole time. And then when people look down at their paperwork, I'm like, blow out a real little one. So
you can pull that off. Do you just like you're petting the dog? Hold on, my dog, and then just
then
come back up.
And to be quite honest, I don't think anybody gives a shit. But
Yeah,
I may get a couple cans of this for that purpose, so it isn't natural for me, and I'll just go ahead and get it. I mean, it comes in 6. I'm on 6 right now, so hey.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If it work, it work. Again, like we said, we're not shitting on any of these. Harm reduction is harm reduction. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, move on to the next. Just have your checklist.
Yeah.
All right, did the gum, did the patch. Then the very last one is vaping. Like, all right, let me try this vaping, see what happens. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's how it usually ends up working.
Mm-hmm.
Hypnosis, anyone, not me. I didn't do it. There's no way I'm letting somebody hypnotize me.
I've done it. I mean, I
Yeah.
did it. I had anxiety after my son was born premature, and I never had another panic attack ever again. And I was convinced it worked, so I actually went back to him and did it for smoking, and it did not work.
It didn't.
I don't know. I don't know why the magic didn't work twice, but it didn't.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious. I mean, was it like instantaneously? Like you walked out of that office, you were craving a cigarette?
No.
Or did it take a little bit of time?
But that night,
Yeah,
I had to like go run to the store for something, and as soon as I got in the car, yeah. But I also think like one of those things was in my head, and the other thing I was actually addicted to using, so it's not really a good comparison.
Yeah, I read something today when I was doing all this research, and it kind of hit me, and it was just like it not they weren't just like talking about like stress and your day and how your life is and all this stuff, but they kind of put all of us smokers, ex-smokers or smokers in this like one category that at any given time, no matter it may be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, or 20 years down the road, we can still kind of be standing in line, like you're saying, at a store and just like instantly start thinking, God, I want a cigarette. And that's, that sucks. I think I didn't even really I mean, when you're in line at the convenience store, like the Stop and Save or the gas station, I mean, do you look over at there and do you ever kind of like think, because I do, I still do that. I'm kind of like, it'd be kind of cool to have a cigarette. I don't do it, but it's just seeing them and smelling the people next to me that just smell like, again, I can tell if you were smoking a Camel, whether it was a Salem, whether it was a fucking Marvell, I can smell it. And it's just kind of have that, I don't know, I kind of like picture myself smoking, sitting on the couch, having a cigarette.
2 things.
Yeah.
I don't go into gas stations.
None no more. None no more.
And also, I haven't been able to smell since I had COVID 2 years ago. So now I really can't smell anything at all. So it really that factor doesn't affect me. But prior to that, no, I never.
Really?
I
The sight of an
I
ashtray.
like vaping. I like
Yeah.
like when I do see somebody smoking though, I do tend to grab my vape. That's almost like a reflex. But I don't ever think like I want to smoke. I will occasionally have a cigar, but that's really rare.
Yeah. How about you, Tim? You get those urges still?
No, it's funny though. I'll say this much about it. Like, whenever I do happen to walk into a convenience store, which is far less than it ever used to be in my life. Like now it's like, oh, if I'm like thirsty and I want a drink or something, I'll go in and pick up a drink. And then I always have this sort of weird kind of out of body experience when you walk up to the counter and you look behind the counter and you see this ocean wall of cigarettes, and then it hits you in your face and you're like, I fucking remember every time I ever went in a place like this and stood in line just for that.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually kind of proud. I'm kind of proud because I get to buy my soda and I get to walk out that door and I don't have to remember what it was like to buy a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Then part B to this is that there are those times when I'm like, I'll be at, like outside work, like if I'm traveling, or I'll be somewhere, sightseeing or just hanging out in general. And then you get that smell of a cigarette comes around, and it's like, and I swear it's always the one cigarette that's like a mile away. That's like way on the other side of the parking lot.
It just finds you.
And it's at that moment in time that I'm like, oh my God, how disgusting. I mean, I can't believe that I, subjected everybody else to that, let alone myself, everybody else to that smell, and me, my jacket, my hair, my clothes, talking to them, that kind of thing. So I get a little disgusted. Here's where like the oddball guilty pleasure comes in. And I think it's only impacted by the fact that you've consumed alcohol, but you go out front of the bar to go vape, and there's a few out there smoking, and it's at that moment in time that whiff of the cigarette smoke comes across the crowd, like while you're talking to your buddies and everybody's a little tipsy at that point. And then you're like, man, that smells good. And I'd like to have one right now, but I never succumb. I never succumb. And I don't do that whole like, hey man, I think I can bum one. I haven't done this in a while. I don't justify it or anything. No.
Just won't. Do you have any of those asshole friends who are like, just take a hit. Just take a hit.
No.
Yeah,
I do have the occasional asshole friend that'll like lecture me like, that shit'll rot your teeth. Talking about what I have.
It says, how effective is hypnosis for quitting smoking? There is no clear evidence that is better than any other approach. It's helping people to stop smoking. Is a benefit that presents current evidence suggests that the benefit is small at most. So there we got Mr. Australia in the house. Yeah. It says, although one session can be helpful for some people, most therapists will tell you that you need at least 4 to 5 sessions. So did you do the more than one, Allison?
No.
You just did the one and done?
Yeah.
Yeah. You said, fuck it, didn't take.
I wasn't wasting any more money. At this point, I was already
$100 an hour.
So many different things. I'm like, this is never going to fucking work.
It's like that the divorce lawyer. I was like, how much? How much is this? This better work. What are you raising your hand for?
I have an opinion question.
All right, go ahead.
I have an opinion question. So I've never tried hypnosis, but I have been seeing a bunch of videos lately where, by virtue of like suggestive hypnosis, that like I've seen these things where people supposedly they get them to forget their name, and then I've seen like the outlandish shit. So my question is, do you believe that certain people are more easily receptive to hypnosis as opposed to like just the average person? So maybe why the success rate is almost non-existent is it really only works for the very small percentage of people who are receptive to hypnosis. Because is there any truth to hypnosis? I mean, to me, it looks funny when you see people in a bunch of chairs on a stage and they all collapse all over each other. It looks staged. Yeah. So I don't know.
Personally, I think having like panic attacks, working a new job, going right back to work after my son was born premature, like it was crippling at work. Like, so I think I wanted it to work so badly because the medications I had tried didn't. So I think that it's maybe more of your mindset when you go in there. And I know that when I went in there to do it for smoking, I was just pissed off that I had to go do the stupid shit. So I also think maybe because I wanted it to work so badly, maybe that's why it worked.
Yeah, no, I've been hypnotized. I've been hypnotized in high school where he came in. It was part of the little thing or whatever for the school, show and tell. Not show and tell, but it was at the, like, I don't know, whatever it was. But yeah, I was out. There was like 80 of us that were on the stands, and I was out. And I have video of me I'm just out of it. completely out. But you have to want and accept being hypnotized. Otherwise, yeah, it won't work. I want to double back because Paul's back here real quick. So, Paul, the first one we talked about is cold turkey. You tell us a little bit about your experience. Did you try going cold turkey, and how were you? What was your mood? Did you kill anybody? Is there bodies that need to be found someday? No.
No,
And dude, right now, wait,
and
one more thing. Right
yeah.
now, you look so mafia, like you got the sports sweatsuit on. I'm just waiting for the gold bling bling. Oh no, it's not it's not one of those. Okay.
I just
Okay.
want everybody. I want everybody to know that I don't owe Paul any money. So
Polly Walnuts. Polly Walnuts.
It's a business shirt, you jackass.
It looked like one of those it looked like one of those zip up sports jackets that the mobsters were. Okay,
really?
All right, we'll go back to the cold turkey thing.
I tried cold turkey a couple of times, but yeah, no dice, because Friday afternoons after work, what do? Go to the pub. That ain't gonna happen. And back then, you could still smoke in all the bars here, so that wasn't going to work.
Yeah,
not at all.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it, but let's ask all. Do you think your chance? Like, I didn't even think about it. Most of us were pretty young when we first attempted cold turkey. Do you think, Paul, now that you're a lot older, that if you were to attempt trying to go cold turkey now, it'd be a little bit easier on you than, you can, you don't have to go to the pub now. You're 50, whatever. But you don't think it'd be easier now that you are a little older?
No, not at all, because I always associated like smoking in the morning with my coffee, with meals. Sorry, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, not for me, it didn't. I tried 3 or 4 times. I think I went a week or 2 weeks. But
you went
that was about the size of it.
You went a good period. I don't think I made more than 3 days tops. I think that was my max, was 3 days.
Yeah.
And I was done.
One situation I was in, I was actually in hospital having my knee rebuilt, and I couldn't get up and move around. And then one of the nurses, when I actually escaped the bed and found a wheelchair so I could get around the hospital, I bummed a cigarette off one of the nurses. I went down to the smoking area. I went, give it here.
Dude, I remember the smoking areas at the hospitals, and then seeing guys with oxygen masks on, and still didn't tell me, hey, John, I need to quit or I'm going to be this guy someday. Didn't even dawn on me. It was just like, yeah, look at that dude. He's got a ventilator, an air tank, and he's smoking a cigarette. Yeah, it's great. It's crazy because now that when you brought that up, I started remembering my ex-wife. The 3 times that she tried to quit all 3 were when she was pregnant. But I swear to God, it was that fucking moment we got out of that hospital. That very moment, she's like, "Give me a cigarette now." It's like she went that whole 9 months, nothing. But as soon as she walked out of that hospital, there was nobody there to see her. Boom, light that cigarette up. It's crazy. It's
I never smoked in a hospital. Outside, yeah, but never did the smoking room in the hospital.
Their little smoking area.
No, did the international airport thing? Yeah, did that.
Dude, my aunt was a nurse for 35 years. She told me some stories of some shit that people have tried because they didn't want to walk down to the smoking area. They would try to smoke in the bathrooms and blow the smoke into the toilet and flush it because it would suck the cigarette smoke down into the toilet. And I tried it. It fucking works. When you take your cigarette, you blow and flush at the same time. The flushing force or whatever takes the smoke down with it. Yeah. Don't try. I don't know. Try it with your vape. Not with a cigarette.
Okay.
Yeah, try it. It's fucking weird. Okay. It works. It works.
As soon as the show's over, that's all
right. Videotape it too.
Yeah.
Record it.
Just real quick. I was looking through these Nick pouches like Zen. I went to their new arrivals on this website. Juice Head. has Nick pouches now.
Mhm.
Juice Head, and they're 12 milligram and 6 milligram. I had no idea. The vaping community is now getting into Nick pouches.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
They're going everywhere.
Paul, the other one we talked about was patches, nicotine gum, sprays, and lozenges. Did you go through that path as well? And what was your side effects and moods like when you did it? And obviously, it wasn't successful. So,
sprays, they made me feel sick 90% of the time. Gum, nicotine gum was what actually destroyed my teeth.
Yeah.
That was the end of my teeth after all the
Yeah.
working in racing. The two things that you live on are nicotine and caffeine, because those two things both keep your weight down for a start. Secondly, they keep you functioning on a daily basis. Sprays, no, not really. Gum destroyed my teeth. Patches, I had weird reactions to them. The higher the nicotine dose, and sometimes I'd forget to take one off at night, and I'd start tripping out when I was sleeping.
Yeah.
It was weird. There was this transition where you wake up in the morning and go, what? Huh?
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
You hear the Twilight song in your head?
Oh no, it wasn't so much Twilight. It was like, did that really just happen?
Yeah. Are these things readily available over the counter in Australia?
What's that?
The patches, the gums, and the sprays. Can you walk into a store and just buy that stuff like we can here?
You can walk into a supermarket and it's not in cabinets or anything like that. It's actually at eye level, and quite clearly on our Nicorette packaging here, it's stated that anyone over the age of 12 can purchase these products.
Oh no, is it ours? Got to be higher, right? Here is that considered 21T or?
I mean, it has to be. It's considered a tobacco product.
I was going to say, I think if you're below 20, well, it depends on your state, really, right? So I'm pretty confident that a ute would get would be scrutinized trying to buy the. And I'll bet you any amount of money that I bet you the person behind the counter would probably be kind of like wigged out, like, what? You're like, what, 14 and you're trying to buy Nick gum? Come on, man.
The really interesting one that I've seen recently, like when I'm at the store, I was walking down that aisle because I had to find something, and there was a kid in the trolley or in the cart with the mother, and the mother had obviously forgotten to pick up the patches or whatever it was. The kid was reaching out of the cart and then throwing him into the cart for the mother. I'm like, what the? And the mother said, oh, I don't need that anymore. But the kid's actively pulling it off the shelf and throwing it into the cart for the mother. I thought that was
18. It says,
okay, is this right? It says
21 laws don't apply to anyone that's approved.
Yeah, it says, I just read that. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Is any smoking cessation medication is not considered
product that's approved, you can be 18. How?
Not here. It says
no, I'm
12.
talking about here.
Here,
it says 12. Here. It says 12 on our Nicorette.
That's crazy, man.
I'm gonna hang on.
I can't see a 12-year-old just fucking chewing on some Nicorette gum, man. 12, you're like what? 6th grade, 7th grade?
Okay. Yes. And I don't know where I think I might have showed the video on the show. This was a while back before Allison was on the show. I think Paul was coming in pretty regularly though. And there was a video of these two kids that were making like a drink using Nick tablets.
Oh my
Like they
God.
had like red kind of whatever,
Ooh.
Gatorade-y kind of stuff, and they took Nick tablets and like crushed them up and then put them in the drink and then mixed it all up, and they were drinking it that way. And we were like freaking out because we're like, look what they're doing now. Oh, now they're going to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Those are the same kids
Us
that are
ninnies,
marinating their
us little
chicken in
Karens.
fucking NyQuil. The same kids that
That'd
are
be healthier than eating Tide Pods.
Here it says quite clearly, use in adolescents under professional supervision only. There you go.
Wow.
That's what they've changed on the packaging here in Australia.
Wow. That just kind of says to me that your kids there are starting smoking much earlier than I think some of the kids here in the U.S. If they're opening it up to 12. Jesus
What is
Christ.
that nicotine going to do to that brain at 12? I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Jesus. There's some of
trying to find one of the updated labels because this is quite horrifying. If they're now slowly, use in adolescents under professional supervision only. Yeah, and under 18, yeah, it's got that. But here it quite clearly states, do not use if you're hypersensitive to any of the ingredients or / if you're under 12 years of age.
Wow.
Or if you've had 14 Red Bulls. That's no big deal.
Yeah,
does that include the vodka that normally goes with the Red Bull?
And then
I used to drink.
He knows about the vodka.
Yeah,
huge amounts of vodka and Red Bull.
I don't think I've ever
Red Bull and Crown. That's what I'm drinking.
I don't think I've ever seen one case of a young preteen or teen ever using Nick gums or any of that. I don't think I've ever seen that or heard of one doing it.
And would Pave recommend that?
Pave did make like a big stink at one point about the nicotine toothpicks.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
my dog threw his bone on the ground.
I was ready to say, Opa.
Shit out of me.
I thought here in Australia, going through kids' backpacks in school, they've actually been finding Nicorette gum that they've been stealing from their parents.
Wow.
But I mean, there's no way that they're getting any satisfaction off of that. I mean, if they're coming off of Juuls and stuff like that, there's no way that Nick gum even plugs a gap at that point. What are they eating the whole are they piercing every little kind of the foil window? Yeah. They're not even doing, what's the Christmas thing called where you open it and you get
the advent calendar?
Yeah. Are they opening it like an advent calendar, just chewing every friggin' chiclet vert thing?
Tim, you remember back in the days, the Big League gum? We used to get that pouch, and we would never throw the piece away. We just keep adding to it. We had this big bowl of gum in our mouth.
Yeah, we were so fascinated with the fact that it was like shredded. That we had to look cool, keep pulling it out of the pouch, and just by the time about an hour later, you got like a friggin'. It looked like you had a goiter on the side of your face.
I think that's children, teens of the 80s. I think we were groomed to either chew or smoke because we had Big League.
It was called Big League Chew.
Big League Chew. We had candy cigarettes in the 70s that we got off the ice cream truck.
Those.
I mean, we were just groomed to be smokers. How about hypnosis, Paul? Have you gone down that road?
Once.
Hypnosis. Have you ever tried hypnosis to quit smoking?
Once, but I used hypnosis for something else, for trauma, and it works for trauma. But I can't really dial into the fact that it works for people trying to get off cigarettes. you know, you'd have to be one tough cookie to go down that pathway. But for trauma, yes, it does work when you need to talk about things or get things brought out of somewhere where you've been in a very dark place for a long time, or for things that you've seen or done. Yes, I do agree with it for that.
I want to see what this looks like real quick, guys. Don't freak out.
What?
I'm not going to do what everybody thinks I'm going to do. And
no,
freak out.
Don't freak out. No. Gosh darn it. Oh, I guess it doesn't. It will not allow you to do it when you have 4 people. I thought I could do this smaller profile window so you can see each other better, but it won't allow you to do it with only 2 people. You can do that and that. Never mind. I thought we could do the smaller windows and like kind of profile each one of us, just like us, without any of the background, but it won't let you do it. Screw you, StreamYard. All right, Tim, you're going to have to say the names of these medications because I'm not going to try to attempt it. And there's the first one.
Common side effects of bupropion, which in other words, for those who have never heard of it by this name, bupropion, I have heard it by that name. It's also called Wellbutrin. And the only reason I know that is because my ex was taking Lexapro and Wellbutrin. One was the mood stabilizer. The other one, Wellbutrin, was supposed to be for energy because she was feeling lethargic. And as a byproduct, before she even realized what happened, before I even knew Wellbutrin was used as a smoking cessation medication, she was like, I can't smoke anymore. It tastes like shit. It made her cigarettes taste like dog shit, and she couldn't do it anymore. So I didn't know. And then I looked it up and I'm like, holy shit, it's a smoking cessation. All right. Drowsiness, anxiety.
There's your excitement.
Well, no. Okay. Well, right. But that was the reason for the Lexapro.
Yeah. You got her upper and her downer and her sideways.
Something to keep you even Steven there. Excitement. I like the fact that you put a period after every
that's how I copied and pasted it.
That's fine. Difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep.
Period.
Period. Period. I don't know if anybody's seen that on TikTok, but God, I want to shoot myself in the head. I can't talk specifically to that. I just know that one of the reasons why he gave her the Wellbutrin was to give her energy because she was struggling getting out of bed in the morning. So like normally when she would be up around like 7:30 or 8, she wasn't like climbing out of bed until 10. And she said because she felt tired. So this was supposed to help with that. So I could see why it might keep you awake. My guess in this is that until you get to medicinal dose, you probably won't feel this nearly as much. Dry mouth, dizziness, headache, and nausea. I can see all of those being a part of it, especially as they're building you up until you kind of get to that level that sustains you.
Yeah. I've never tried any of the drugs. Allison, did you try any of these? You tried this one?
Yeah, this one and Chantix.
Yeah, we're getting into that one. We're getting into that.
So I had done a little reading on it because I was interested in I was actually vaping when my ex was smoking. So we both started vaping at the same time. Well, I was like dual use, but I was still smoking a lot because a lot of my travel was international. And there were and I've said this before on the show, a lot of countries that I was going to, I could not legally bring it into the country. So I could either risk losing my $150 mod because I didn't have the little pods and AIOs and all that stuff to bring with me. I could either risk losing it all at customs as I tried to come into the country, or I could just bite the bullet and go back to smoking for a week or however long I was there. That said, I was vaping when my ex went back to smoking. We were both vaping simultaneously, and then she started to see some news reports and things that kind of made her think that there was something wrong in e-liquid and that it might be super dangerous and da-da-da-da. She's like, and she thought, or at least I have to believe her, she said it was making her nauseous from vaping, but I can't attest other than her own testimonial. So she went back to smoking, and then that's when she went to the doctor, not for smoking for this, But my point is that I'd read up on this, and I did see that a lot of doctors don't normally rush to this first. This is usually like a last ditch kind of thing, because they know that it has been pretty successful in helping to get people to cessate.
How many of those side effects do you think you had, Allison, when you tried this? Did you have all of them, or just
definitely the dizziness and the headaches, for sure.
For sure. And your ex, Tim, she have them all?
All of this? Yes, but I don't know that it was directly correlated to
that's right, yeah.
to the Wellbutrin. Now I do know that she did have like real strong bouts of anxiety, and just kind of feeling a little wacky, just because it had never been in her system before,
Yeah.
and they were kind of building her up, and then she was ready to try to maybe take the next step because she wasn't getting the energy boost that she was looking for. And she went from he started her on like 10, and then I think he moved her to 15, and she did the 15, and she was like, oh, I don't know, I'm going crazy, and I'm like, holy shit, don't kill me, that kind of thing, so
don't kill me.
No, I didn't say it like that. I'm just saying it made me a little nervous for her, because it obviously was not garnering the results. The byproduct was quitting smoking.
Yeah. And Paul, do you have this drug available in Australia or no?
Yeah, we do, but it's not used for smoking cessation as much as it's used for alcohol dependency.
Oh, wow.
It's got a lot of off-book uses. I've studied all of these drugs, but it is used, but not commonly.
Well, I bet you it makes a beer taste like shit. If it makes if it does that to a cigarette.
Well,
she wasn't much of a drinker, but I never heard her once be like,
"Oh, okay.
Now I don't enjoy the occasional beer when we go out, or it tastes different." That's a very complex story, John. It's not the show for half of what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll do that for a future show. Yeah. X's, where are they at? Then and now. X's, then and now.
It might be a Friday night episode.
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good topic for Friday night. I'm going to write that one down. X's, then and so yeah, Paul. So they use this one for alcohol dependency.
It's got a lot of other uses other than smoking cessation.
Okay.
And this is what they're not telling people. A lot of these started off originally in psychotherapy and things like that, and then they were moved because of the other off-book, a lot of the other off-book treatments. That's probably the easiest way to put it.
Yeah. There it is. There's the one that I didn't try it. After I heard all the bad shit about it, I didn't really go and try it, but
okay. So the common side effects of Chantix: abdominal pain, changes in appetite, period. Changes in the menstrual cycle, period. Constipation or diarrhea.
That sucked.
No period.
No period there.
Dry mouth or unpleasant taste in the mouth. Gas, headache, and heartburn.
I already got gas.
Beans are good for your heart.
Did you? You didn't try any of these. Did your ex try this one, Tim, by any chance?
No, because she wasn't actively trying to quit smoking. All she was trying to do was she wanted to get away from vaping and went back to smoking.
How about you, Allison? Were you a Chantix user?
I did use it, and I didn't have any of these side effects.
None. You didn't have the weird dreams, because that's the one that they needed to.
Horrible dreams and really bad depression.
Yeah. See, I don't understand why they don't use that. Consider that one of the side effects, because it should. Because every person I've heard tells me some pretty fucking weird stories.
Yeah.
And I had a buddy of mine whose wife was on this, and she got up screaming and yelling and just about every other night. And finally, he asked her, "What the hell are you dreaming?" She goes, "I'm killing you." And then he's like, "You need to get off this shit now," because he was like, "I'm not gonna wake up and you're on top of me with a butcher knife."
Yeah.
No.
I mean, it used to have the black box warning, and then that was removed, but the fact that it's not even listed here as side effects, I mean, I don't know if the medication itself was altered, but I know that back then that was a big issue.
Yeah, and let's also mention that in 2021, Pfizer issued a volunteer recall of Chantix because the drug had high levels of I don't even know how to say that word, nitrosamine. I don't know.
Nitrosamines.
There you go. Or possible cancer-causing agents. The drug is still available and being made with acceptable levels. So I don't know. I'm not a pharmacist. I don't know what levels they took out or what it was causing the cancer. So I don't see it anywhere. So when I looked this up, the two drugs, I was telling Allison that where did I write that? There's only two. This one, the one that we just talked about, and another one are the only two FDA approved drugs for quit smoking. So this is no longer even approved by the FDA. So until they fix their issue with that, whatever was causing cancer.
But they did approve the generic. That they did.
Yeah,
approve
that's
the
weird.
Generic. But to Allison's point, I'm on WebMD RX, and they do mention things like unusual dreams, sleep problems, and then they say speak to your physician immediately if you have because they're saying that you could potentially have seizures, sleepwalking, restlessness, trouble sleeping, aggression, hostility, agitation. It goes on. So this little short list is not a quantitative list.
Yeah, so this came from I think the FDA where I got this info from their page or one of the.
You think they're going to tell you the truth?
No, they're not. That's why WebMD is probably your best bet when it comes to when you're going to start something, because you're not going to get a true answer on an actual FDA website, especially when Pfizer probably is 60% of their profit margin. So
more than that.
Yeah. The last one. Go ahead, Timmy. I don't even know this one. This is the second one that is the only two. The first one and this one are the only two that are FDA approved.
All right, so I'm gonna take a wild stab in the dark on this one because
actually
this is a pop quiz right now. Common side effects of varenicline.
Yeah, you got it. I'm going to go with
varenicline.
I'm going with it.
All right. Thank God for Mom and her 40 years of teaching. I wouldn't be the pronunciator that I am today.
For the Wednesday Night Live show.
That's not even a word, John. Nausea, constipation, diarrhea. This one sounds horrible. Gas, abdominal pain, vomiting, heartburn, and bad taste in the mouth.
You're getting it from all the open areas in your body.
I will pass on this one altogether.
See, that's the thing. I mean, everybody wants to quit smoking. Everybody, goes into your, the people that actually go into their physician and say, hey, I want to quit smoking. I've been smoking for 25 years. If I were a doctor, I mean, and I go through these lists, and I mean, I'm not even recommending these things. I'm not even going to recommend it because, and as a patient, just hearing that list and thinking to yourself, worst case scenario, I get all of those things, or Tim squeezing his balls over there.
just thinking about it. You might quit smoking, but you're gonna have a really shitty day.
Yeah, you're gonna have a real shitty day. Oh. Yeah. In my luck, I'm gonna get the gas, the diarrhea, and the vomiting. I just know it. I'm gonna get those three things. I'm leaving the doctor's office going, yeah, I'm gonna take this stuff. I'm gonna shit my pants probably.
Well, can I ask a question for your opinion question to you guys?
Yeah.
So I mean, unless you're just like addicted to thinking that medications are the only resolution for an issue in your life, because I mean, I'm pretty sure there are probably those that get conditioned to bottle and cap kind of medicines, right? Because they think the doctor will solve it that way. But it just, to me, I guess the question is, why would any of you consider any of this as this? To me, this seems like total last ditch effort. Like, I would never consider medication in this form to quit smoking before something else.
Right. I think when you go into the doctor's office with that intent of quitting smoking, hey doc, I've been smoking. I think a majority of the doctors are probably going to start you off with a patch, right? I mean, they're not going to go straight, oh, go take this and shit your pants.
So Prof. Millicky brought up a
Yeah, it's
very
possible. Yeah.
I'm looking up and it says varenicline is common brands are Chantix.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Chantix and varenicline are the exact same thing. So we're
Yeah,
basically talking. Yeah.
Varenicline is the regular name for it. Chantix is the brand name of Pfizer.
Yep.
And going back to Chantix, I ended up in a loony bin.
So
I spent what?
Again, the correlation between Wellbutrin and bupropion, same kind of situation.
Yeah.
Similar, but this one, when Gottlieb was the head of the FDA, he actually removed the black box warning from Chantix. It was a golden parachute for him to go back and work for Pfizer. That was the deal, right? He needed to remove that warning so they could then move it forward. And then when they started finding the nitro in it, everything went pear-shaped. But he still had his job at Pfizer, didn't he?
Sneaky bastards. Yeah. I mean, like I was saying, I think that's the route most doctors go, because that was the route my doctor said when I first decided to quit smoking. The first thing he asked me is, he didn't ask me how much I smoked, none of that. He just asked me if I tried cold turkey first. That was the first thing he asked me. Did you try to do this on your own? And I'm like, yes. And it didn't, I was back to smoking within 3 days. Okay, let's try the patch. And I went down that road. I don't think, I mean, unless the patient says, I want this, whatever, and I'm going to go this route first. I don't want to try a patch. But I don't think do you think a doctor's just going to go at that route right off the start? Probably not.
I would say if the doctor is going to go this route right out of the gate, it would be for probably the extreme smoker, like the 3-4 pack a day chain type smoker that just no patch or gum is gonna pad that fall. You're gonna have to go whole hog and give them something strong.
Yeah. The nightmares. I mean, that's crazy. I tell you, my buddy was feared for his life. He was almost going to buy twin beds and sleep in another room away from his wife if she continued using that shit, because she would just get up screaming, and she, because she's like, every night, I've killed you, and he's like, okay, this is a problem. I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so if you're going to kill me every night. Let's go through these real quick. I don't know. Let me stop this. How do I stop that, guys? I don't know.
Stop what?
Whatever's up on the screen. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is a slide.
Stop
there you go. I knew it. There you go. Share screen. And we can go with the first one. And he brings up a good point. I think a lot of people forget that part of the coughing. Did you guys go through that as well? Those first couple of days? Even with the vaping, the coughing. Or cold turkey, when you went cold turkey, the nonstop coughing for like freaking weeks.
I definitely don't recall during the cold turkey phase that I spent a period of time hacking up a lung to clear it out of my lungs. But I do recall when I switched to vaping that yes.
Yeah, we had quite a few people in the Zample Box family page that were going to quit vaping because they thought it was causing that cough. And we would constantly keep telling them, no, just keep going. It'll eventually go away. Some people in a few days, some people a week, sometimes 2 weeks. It just let it pan itself out. You have any of those issues, Allison?
I mean, definitely with vaping. I was coughing a lot, especially like in the shower. Like it was like I remember coughing a lot. And then I remember like once I got it all out, I could like breathe a little deeper almost.
Yeah. Paul?
I coughed a lot, but but I was a very heavy smoker in the end. I was up to anywhere between 40 and 60 a day, and I was rolling. I wasn't. I had a cigarette in my mouth. I'd roll a cigarette even before I got out of bed at the stables. And I'd light a cigarette, get out of bed, make coffee, and I'd have another 3 cigarettes as well. Simple. Wouldn't bother me. But yeah, I coughed like a absolute bitch for the first couple of weeks. And then I was coughing up garbage the second week. And then by the third week, it cleared. It wasn't an issue then.
Yeah, I got you. We covered that part. Yeah, that's 13 years. I thought there was more in here. Where'd they all go, guys?
That would be all your comments right there.
Yeah, that's it. That's all of them. I thought there was more in there. I thought there was more. The counseling one, Tim, I couldn't find anything. I didn't see any support groups that were in my area, so I kind of did that little research for that. But I guess counseling and support groups are one of the other ways of quitting smoking. I don't know if any of you guys have been through any of those.
No, but I mean, I think it starts with sort of offering someone kind of a channel, because somebody who wants to quit might feel like if they talk to somebody they feel actually is a little bit more knowledgeable or educated on how to quit, that counseling can be a good companion item to say maybe going cold turkey, because maybe, you know, when you're cold turkey and you don't have a lot of support around you, there needs to be someone there to talk you off the ledge every now and again.
Yeah.
So I can't see counseling alone being without in conjunction with one of the other methodologies.
Yeah. So patches and then using the support group as well. So hypothetical question here. There isn't vaping. Vaping doesn't exist. Which one of these do you recommend to your friend? If he comes up to you, Tim, and says, "Hey man, I need to quit smoking." You don't know anything about vaping. How would you go down? What route? Which one would you pick?
Personally,
Yeah.
I would probably would recommend, and even though I haven't tried them, I might go with these pouches. Only because it does give you sort of that oral fixation component going on. Because I mean, you can't quite chew it, but you know, people are talking about tasting it, so they're not spitting it out. So you get flavor for one, so that helps disassociate. Two, it looks like in many of these pouches you can create your own step down program, because I saw the juice head is 12 milligram, and I believe 12 and another one down from that. Then
6.
they had 6, and then they had the other one called, I can't remember the brand names now because I don't have the site up. There was one that was 8 and 4, and then they had another one which was 6 and 3. So all in all, you know, you could create a relevant kind of step down program and get your nick fixed that way. So I would go with those pouches.
How about you, Paul? No, there's no vaping. Vaping doesn't exist.
It's a tough one. It's a really, really tough one, because we're told here that, you know, you need to go down one of these pathways and we'll get you off. But then we've got a certain professor here that swears blind by, you know, cold turkey. It's the only way to go. But if you're a hardcore smoker, your withdrawal symptoms alone are going to crush you. I don't care what anyone says. And it crushed me a couple of times when I was pretty hardcore. But I don't know. I don't know what to recommend, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because I know that every single one of them has got a side effect. The gum completely fucked my teeth up. Okay. And because of that, I don't like seeing the fang doctor. I hate the fang doctor. Anyone that's going to try and jam shit in my mouth, I'm not up for that one either. So I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a hard question to even answer. Sorry.
Yeah. How about you, Allison? It's tough.
I don't know. I would have to say the pouches as well, just because I've had such bad
Yeah, you've done all these.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like I would recommend anything that would get somebody off of smoking. So
Yeah.
maybe not the meds, but I mean, whatever works for you, right? I mean, everybody reacts differently. So, but definitely the pouches if I had to recommend one thing.
I don't know. Do they have acupuncture for help? Do they really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, acupuncture is used for a lot of different things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Straws, brush teeth, lemon gums, patches. I don't know. For me too, I mean anything that's going to work. I mean, if I didn't have vaping to offer to someone, I think the safest one on there is the patches, the gums, and the lozenges and the spray. I mean, I would never ever, seeing those side effects and knowing different situations other people have been in using those drugs, I would never even if I were a doctor, I would never recommend any of those things. Even like Tim says, even if you were a 4-pack a day smoker, I don't think I could recommend that. I don't think I would want to put one of my patients through that hell. I mean, there's just no way that I would go down that road.
Oh, I mean, people react differently to medications anyway. Some people get violently ill on antibiotics and stuff, and I've never had one issue with antibiotics. So, they're probably just warning you of that because there is a small percentage of people that have those. Now, I'm not speaking to Chantix because it seems like every time I hear more nightmares about that one than I do about people just having the occasional side effect. But me too. I would not send them straight to the medications unless they were just like, I can't, I have to, and I can't. You need something extra. These little 4 milligram gums aren't going to do it, buddy.
You could see the guy walking around with like 8 patches on his fucking arm.
Chewing the gum with the spray.
that one day in hospital, I had 2 patches on and they gave me a spray because I was still trying to scrape my head off the ceiling.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. That was a little bit about harm reduction and our experiences with some of these things. Again, we're not shitting on harm reduction. Any type of tobacco harm reduction is a great start. So, I mean, that's you making a decision to make your life better. So, whatever works for you, works for you. But, don't give up on vaping, man. Give vaping a try. If you are so afraid of vaping, but you want to go through all that other stuff first, please at least give it a chance. I mean, give it a chance. Stop listening to the FDA and give it a chance. Anything else you guys want to add to that as far as harm reduction, tobacco harm reduction?
Go ahead.
Just be very careful when speaking to your doctors and make sure that you actually trust your physician, not someone that wants to push you down pathways. Speak to 2 or 3 doctors, not one. And make sure that they're all similar pages, and then choose the course that is good for you. Simple as that.
Yeah. Kind of curious, Allison, before you started some of those drugs, did you have to go through some sort of physical to make sure your heart was able? Did they do any of that, or is it just?
Well, I had a blood clot that was caused by smoking. So at the time, the only thing that they were concerned with is me getting off smoking because that restricts the blood vessels and could cause an issue when you're on blood thinners trying to get rid of a blood clot.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering that if there was some sort of physical that you had to go, hey, your heart
possibly, maybe in other, if I had gone to a doctor and asked to quit smoking, but this is something I was told I had to do. So.
Yeah. I was just kind of curious if they did some sort of physical, and they just say, hey, dude, your heart's already beating at 180, whatever, and you got this one. Yeah, I was just wondering. Timmy, are you ready for some news?
That's kind of a long one, so I only got one real good one, but it's relevant to what we've talked about before.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. Did you want to say anything about THR before we go?
Well, I'm curious too because I don't believe any studies have been done, but don't they have those Nick gummies out now? It didn't.
I've never seen them. I've never seen them anywhere.
They took them away. I thought they took them away.
They might have, but I'm just saying. I remember we had a story, or there was a thing where they were. We were like,
to that, though.
They have nicotine gummies.
Yeah. We get samples of stuff all the time at the warehouse. People trying to get us to pick up their products, and I've never seen a nicotine gummy.
All right, no, it's no big deal. It's not like I endorse them anyway, because I'm like,
sure. We got a couple grand.
Halloween is fucking doomed. Between the Nick gummies and the fentanyl gummies, the kids are doomed.
What I see a meme the other day, it says something about CBD or the gummies with CBD and all that other stuff with hemp and whatever, and it says something like, no user loves your kid enough to give your kid a CBD gummy. It's like,
that is expensive shit. You're not giving that away, not on purpose.
It's not like, oh shit, I ran out of candy. Let me give these kids some CBD gummies. No, that fucking ain't happening, man. That's not happening. And how about you, Allison? Anything you want to touch on before we head on out on THR?
No, I just think do whatever works for you. Get off cigarettes. That's it.
Get off cigarettes, baby. That's it. All right, Timmy, let me give you your little thingy. That sounded so wrong.
All right, I'm tapping my stress
your
balls.
I'm
tapping my balls today. I'm gonna have to come up with some pretty crafty ways to. Anyway, all right, so I'm tapping everything. I don't want to tap this because if I open it, it'll be an explosion.
Yeah, you just shook it.
No, I didn't. I just kind of raised it in there. I'm careful. I'm tapping my remote. Hold on. Let me tap. Forget it. Let me be legit. I'll tap my little pad of paper. My notepad. All right. So I found this one last week, and I put it in the bucket to talk about. And John has raised this concern before, talking about the conversation around vaping and how we have a really hard time kind of escaping that kind of negative connotation and buzzword that is vaping, because anymore, or the majority of the time, that you do see a lot of the negativity on Twitter, and in relationship to like the really bad effects. I'm not talking about like the hearsay effects that, are in the graphics, or what Pave talks about, with, dealing with stunting development, brain development, or it's got metals in it and unknown chemicals. That's okay. That's okay. It's your mic, not mine. You paid a lot more for that one than I paid for this one.
I got it.
I hope it can...
Let me mute it so you don't hear me doing all the...
Yeah. So I've said it before, not taking any credit. I'm just saying it seems like if we could somehow find a way to get away from certain terminology, if we could disassociate ourselves from the more common words that get used in the banter, that we could somehow resituate ourselves in talking about what we're engaged in, because as we all know, vaping is a verb. We weren't involved in the black market THC carts, and we weren't the ones that were in the hospital on lung machines, and we weren't the ones that had clogged lungs and showing pictures of blood-filled medical gloves and just all this shit that you see all over the media. And then they just say the word vaping, and then for the ants it's advantageous. For the people who don't know, don't understand, don't really care so much, but they welcome that kind of shock thing, like, oh my god, vaping's so bad. They hear the word vaping and they instantly associate it to us standing over here on the right corner, with the blueberry donut smell, and that we're gonna die, and yet it wasn't related to us. So how do we separate ourselves from that common thread so that we can clearly define ourselves? So let me present my screen. Hold on. It's funny. It says present, and then you go to the next drop down and it says
share. That's why I laughed that they changed that.
All right. So this was, I thought, it's a long-winded article
Link.
From filtermag.org, done by Helen Redmond. But it addresses this whole thing. And apparently, and I didn't know this, that there's actually a group of people who sort of are kind of spearheading this particular charge. And it's a group of people who are kind of saying that a lot of the misconceptions and the negativity around vaping is due to the naming conventions that are out there, the acronyms, the things that have happened, and that we need to create a much more concise kind of I want to say Bible, but it's not a Bible, like a dictionary for vaping, so that people are very clear on what this means, what that means, and how you can correlate this to that. Now, we could start doing this as a community. We could start doing this as individuals, and maybe if we change the verbiage that we use in and around people and how we communicate online, maybe we can try to create some clear lines of communication. So again, the article is make it make sense, the confusing terminology around safer nicotine. So she starts off with nicotine vapes contain no tobacco but are routinely called tobacco products. A 2019 lung disease outbreak is still known as EVALI, e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury, when nicotine vapes had nothing to do with it. The war of disinformation against tobacco harm reduction relies on a host of inaccurate and outright misleading terms that leave the public asking, make it make sense. I mean, I think we do. We're like, make it make sense. I don't know who else might question that. So this is where we were headed. So it's welcome that a group of researchers from the UK, led by Dr. Sharon Cox, have created an initial version, and we'll come back up and click on this, of an ontology. That's what it's called, an ontology, which is basically sort of a kind of a thesaurus of medical terms, so you kind of know what they mean, of tobacco, nicotine, and vaping products with the aim of reducing ambiguity and confusion in the field. Ontology means the attempt to categorize things by their nature and properties. So they, maybe we can just click over to it really. Well, I don't want. Let's save it for later. So new nicotine delivery devices have revolutionized the field and made it necessary to develop a logical and consistent nomenclature. A dizzying number of terms are currently used. There's tobacco harm reduction, THR, electronic nicotine delivery systems, or ENDS as we know them, e-vapor products, reduced risk and safer nicotine products, and heat not burn or heated tobacco products. I'm guessing SNPs are more like NRTs, right? Reduced risk and safer nicotine products. So gums, patches, sprays, lozenges. Classes of nicotine vaping products, also known as e-cigarettes, include open system vapes such as box mods or vape pens, which can be refilled with e-liquids, pod systems that use nicotine cartridges, and disposables such as Cigalikes. Other THR options include snus, an oral smokeless tobacco product contained in sachets. That's not sachets. So anybody
Here we go.
I just saw something that was funny. So if you still shop at Target, you're not. You're shopping at Target. Okay, you're shopping at Target. Pharmaceutical grade nicotine salt pouches and lozenges and heated tobacco products containing a ceramic blade. What?
Ceramic blade?
What? They talk. Well, they already said heat not burn, right?
Yeah.
No. Well, heated tobacco product. That's got to be heat not burn. Does it use? Does it use ceramics?
It's at the base of it. It's a ceramic blade in one of them, and then the ICOS V3. There's two variants of it. One has a metal, the other one has a ceramic, and then the fourth generation has three variants, which is quartz.
Okay. So, but that's kind of how it works, right? So, it's a ceramic filament or disc, or
no, it's an actual blade. When it comes down onto it, it interacts.
Oh, and then it heats up the tobacco stick or thing or whatever that's shoved in there or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Then there are combustible cigarettes, cigars, cigarillos, and beady. Has anyone ever smoked a beady? I figured Paul would have. What about you, John?
No.
Have you ever seen a beady?
No.
Allison? Allison's seen a beady before.
Yeah.
All right. I had a friend in high school. His name was Praveen Sood, Sood, Praveen Sood. And we used to go over to his house like after school to hang out. We would bounce around a bunch of people's different houses, and we would go and hang out in his room. And he would bring upstairs from his dad or his grandfather these things called Manish Gandhi beaties. Manish Gandhi. And I'm like, and he would take them out of the little pouchy thing, and they were like basically tobacco, like rolled in like an olive leaf, like sewn together with yarn on the end and shit. And I was like, and we'd be like, oh yeah, we got to smoke that thing. They tasted like total dog shit. They were gross. And I think in our brains, we thought we were smoking like a doobie or something, because it was kind of the way it was. We weren't like manufacturing the high, but it's kind of like, I guess that was the attraction of it. Like, ooh, these got to be more weird than cigarettes. Yeah, let's smoke a beady. So anyway, that's what a beady looks like. Anyway, it goes on and on and on, but they just kind of keep commenting to the idea that we need more kind of clear communication around the names that we talk about them, because they just get blurred along the lines. Now, will we make a significant impact? But I think we can if we just keep our messaging consistent. So if they see us talking this way and then everybody else talking the other way, well, then what is it that they're talking about? It's not the same thing. It could, in some relevant terms, it could be, but just vaping in general is just so generic. You know what I mean? It just, yes, that is the action that is happening on both sides of the fence. But I keep making the analogy. If I got on Twitter and I posted all of the all the diabetics are dying from injecting. And then everybody's going like, what's going on? You know, well, the question that you have to ask is, okay, but they weren't dying from the insulin. They were dying from the fentanyl that they were injecting. So it's all relative to what it is that they were injecting that makes that really, is the argument that stands. So the researchers created subclasses of tobacco-containing products, combustible, heated, and smokeless. In one figure for nicotine-containing products, they listed the modes of ingestion, which include inhaled, oral, nasal, and transdermal. That means on your skin. Patch. I'm sure everyone's smart. I'm not trying to make you feel stupid, but maybe people don't know what transdermal means.
Is that something about a gerbil?
Yeah, a transgerbil. There, yeah. And we won't go into the details of how you get that into your system.
No. It's for another show.
Yeah, just know it takes a toilet paper roll. That's all I'm saying. In the controversial and divisive world of U.S. tobacco control, standard terms can be utterly confusing and often dead wrong. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration classifies nicotine vapes as tobacco products because the nicotine in them is derived from the tobacco plant, but it does not classify patches, gums, and inhalers regulated as drugs under a completely different pathway from vapes as such, even though their nicotine comes from the same source. Would people who smoke be as likely to use these nicotine replacement therapies if they were labeled tobacco products?
I'm sorry. I'm just reading the comments.
We opened a can of gerbils on that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So at any rate, the open-ended question. So why hasn't the FDA changed their terminology? Well, what makes you think that they're going to?
Nope.
I know they were even served a letter, and it might have been. I don't know if it was from from the same group. These are people from the UK, but I do believe a select group of, I think, 15. Was it the 15 former presidents, or was it I know it was like a group of about 15 people scribed a letter that they sent off to the FDA to effectively ask them to specifically drop one of the letters from E-Valley or something like that.
Yeah, 15 former presidents.
Right, because they said
wanted it removed.
Right, because they said that it was basically a misleading comment. So in that regard, yeah. So, but they're not going to change their verbiage. Campaign for tobacco-free kids. They're not going to change the way they talk about it. Pave, you name it. They're not gonna do anything. They're going to use any of the scare tactics and any of the relative terms that are going to make people kind of demonize it and look at it negatively. The Center for Disease Control, CDC, is a powerful purveyor of this lie too. In her response to the latest National Youth Tobacco Survey, Deirdre Lawrence Kittner, director of the CDC's Office on Smoking and Health, said, "It's critical that we work together to prevent youth from starting to use any tobacco product, including e-cigarettes, and help all youth who do use them to quit. And help all youth who do use them to quit." Huh?
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I didn't write that.
Oh, I'm reading the sentence thinking, what are you quitting? No, they're saying the kids that use them need to quit. All right.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes on and on more and more about the misinformation angle of it all. But I thought we'd spend a little bit of time. We got about 15 minutes left in the show. I thought I'd go back up to this ontology, and we can go ahead and take a look at that. Let's take a look at the classifications. Maybe it will help us. I think this is it. So Wiley Online Library, the backgrounds and the aims, the introduction. We're not going to get into any of that. I just want to get to the ontology. Good gravy.
What kind of gravy? Brown gravy, white
I don't
gravy?
know. The Italian kind. I guess that's it. We don't
No,
call it.
no,
You
no,
don't
no,
call
no.
it sauce. You call it gravy.
We call it sauce. We don't call it gravy.
Well, somebody calls it gravy.
The idiot. No, I'm not going to say the word.
So
you go to Italy, they say sugo, which is sauce. So that's all I'm saying. That's my only. Anytime someone brings it up, that's the first thing I say. What do they call it in Italy? Sugo, and sugo is sauce.
All right, I don't. These are ontological. No, I'm just wondering if this is this. They said they put them in categories, and I'm trying to
find. Why don't you jump off of that one real quick so I can share this other story real quick?
All right. Anyway,
so Allison, you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna. Anyway, so let's change our language, folks.
What? Afangulo.
Well, you said jump off of that one, so I'm jumping off of that one.
All right. Let me. You want me to put it up, Allison? You can just read through it. I think you already read it, so
yeah,
you should be good. Yeah, you should be good. And I'll share the link to this article as well in the chat if you guys. But you go after the show. Don't go now. Go after the show. All right. Go ahead, Allie.
Okay, so this is basically on October 18th. This is something that we knew about a little bit. We had heard about through some of the small vape manufacturers that were affected by this before they actually put out their statement. But the FDA basically got the DOJ to go in and go after these 6 tiny vape shops. From what we've heard, there was like a sting operation involved. It was like a whole thing for these 6 probably single-owned, mom and pop owned vape shops, and basically to catch them selling e-liquids that they had received MDOs for or not submitted a PMTA whatsoever for, and they're basically suing them. The Biden administration is suing these vape shops. I think they have destructive orders. They have to come up with a plan where they have to destroy their products. They have 15 days. I think after that, they start to incur, I want to say it's a $9,000 a day fine, which obviously the FDA doesn't go into all of that, but that is something that we do know that is happening. And they have to then, at the cost of the vape shop owners, they have to come up with all of this and then carry it out. Not only that, but they actually have and they will not ever be able to sell it again the way that the FDA has it laid out. Yeah. So basically they are going hard after these people. I mean, to me, when you're looking at your customers and you're seeing that they're vaping and they're not smoking and you have these experiences and the FDA tells you to pull your products, I mean, I can't really blame anyone who says no. I'm not going to do that to my customers because at this point, if we don't have, the customers, you know, health
Yeah.
in mind,
Yeah.
obviously the FDA is not going to. So, I mean, I understand it's illegal. They shouldn't have done it, but I mean, this is just really small, manufacturers, and I
But
think that
they're gonna use this as like a win for them. This is
yeah,
something they're gonna post
they're bullying.
everywhere.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just bullying these small companies that don't stand a chance
Yeah.
against what the FDA has handed them.
I am surprised I haven't seen any of the ants post any of this. Is this where you found it, or did you just come across this article?
Well, something that I knew was going on,
Yeah.
for a little while now that I knew like when it actually happened. But this, I guess the FDA put their statement out. So this was actually something the FDA tweeted,
Okay.
and then a few articles were written about it. Yeah, because I think they posted it on the 18th and
Yeah. Published in BMJ. I don't know what the
yesterday.
hell. Yeah. I
Yep.
don't know. Focus on enforcement. I'm surprised they actually got enough people to enforce it. To be honest with you, it was probably a
Yeah.
one-man operation. One guy probably walked in there with paperwork and just said, "Hey, we're shutting you down."
Yep. Yeah.
It's sad.
Yep.
And let me go back up to the top because we had the names right somewhere on here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah. E-cig curb in Minnesota, South
Yep,
Vapor.
e-cig crib in Minnesota, Soul Vapor, West Virginia, Vapor Craft in Georgia,
Yeah.
Super Vapes in Washington, Lucky Vapes and Smoke Shop in Kansas, and Butt Out in Arizona.
I like that name, Butt Out.
Butt Out.
So none of them submitted PMTAs?
None of them, yeah. None of them.
Yeah, according to the FDA, that's what they're saying.
And so the implications, these are shops that were still doing house juices?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I think in most cases here, I think solely selling just the liquids that they were manufacturing. I think they thought they could just kind of fly under the radar. According to the FDA, there were lots and lots of warning letters sent out and no response.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people, especially, somebody that owns one shop, I think that they just figured maybe they would fly under the radar. But I mean, anytime you ever register anything with the FDA, you're letting them know exactly where to find you. So
yeah.
So
I'm guessing, I don't know about all the locations, but I'm guessing these are probably the only shop in that town.
I mean, you would think. I mean, I'm not sure, how big these areas are.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they don't
I
actually
think,
list. They don't actually list the cities. They're just
right.
the state. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I mean, you can find the information, if you look up the warning letters and stuff. But I just think, like, when somebody's selling cigarettes right around the corner at a gas station, you just kind of are like, no, I'm not going to close up. And I definitely have heard that attitude from a lot of shop owners, and I can't say that I disagree with it.
I'm also very curious whether or not any of these actually got a strike for underage sales as well. That could be a key factor in this.
Yeah.
Why they went after these individual shops?
Yeah, correct. Because I'm starting to wonder now whether or not, if they're putting it under that they didn't submit, a PMTA. I'd be.
They definitely didn't. I mean, you can definitely.
I'd be very
go on
curious.
the website and see. Yeah, you can see on the FDA's website. I'm sure we could dig and find out if they were issued.
These guys got 3 shops. These guys are losing. These guys are losing 3 shops.
Oh, more locations. Keep going. They got more than that.
Oh shit.
I mean, it's hard to believe that somebody that has that many locations wouldn't even attempt to file a PMTA. But
5 locations.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm just very curious about this now because this doesn't really gel with
Look at all the high ratings.
What the whole story is.
Yeah.
All with almost 5-star ratings too. So they're good to their customers.
Yeah.
Bud Out is permanently closed in Arizona. Okay, Redden.
Well, that's closed because of the time. Yeah.
No, it's permanently closed.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm very curious now. Put in another one. Well,
I'm looking at Vaporcraft on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
Bud Out's got one store with high ratings.
Yeah.
4.8. Oh, it's a little place.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually just a little mix match shops. They're not just strictly just vaping stuff. I mean, this Vaporcraft has everything.
They got the pet grooming right next to it, so you can get your vape and get your pet groomed at the same time.
I could say something to that, but I won't go there.
I knew you. I'm going to open up a car wash vaping thing. So you get your car wash, get your e-liquid at the same time as you're getting your car wash. You use the vacuum, you get a free coil.
No, you can't give anything away for free.
Did you look up the one?
I just pulled them up on Facebook. It doesn't look like they have multiple locations, but what's ironic to me, well, their last actual post was on September 28th, and the post is public. Anyone can see it. Although they have some filters on it, but I can't tell who they filtered. Wacky Wednesday, 15% off house juice.
They got good glassware there.
I'm surprised that didn't get flagged. Facebook flagged the E-Cig Charleston Facebook page, like stuff that was uploaded like 2017 that I had to take down.
Wow.
I'm just shocked that there's now. Here was going to be my question though. Okay, so part of the other thing that goes with this whole kind of fight kind of thing is civil disobedience. Do you think that it's some of that going on? Just sort of
for sure. That's a lot of people's mindset is
Oh man. Oh yeah, see, it's house juice.
Yep.
It's their house juice, yeah. Endless Summer. I wonder what that is.
Lover's Milk. I don't know about that.
All right, here we go. Let's guess the flavors of these bottles. Endless Summer, Tim. What would Endless Summer to you? What ingredients needs to go into for you to picture Endless Summer?
Something citrusy, something tropical. So I'm gonna say it's probably something with some kind of a pineapple and maybe like a tangerine and coconut or something goofy like that.
How about you, Al? Same stuff?
Say maybe like a pineapple strawberry.
Yeah, pineapple strawberry. For you, that is dreading winter right now, Paul. I know you're summer coming up for you. That's right. Endless Summer. What's in Endless Summer? I'm not even going to ask what's Lover's Milk because this whole show will derail. This whole show will derail.
And Endless Summer for me, it'd have to be, Tropicana.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like
I'm thinking like kiwi, banana.
No.
Yeah.
Kiwi you can eat all year round. It'd have to be something like.
All right.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know. But...
Go ahead, Allison. What is in Lover's Milk?
Oh no.
Mangoes. Yeah, not in Lover's Milk, but the other one. Yeah. I don't want no mango in my Lover's Milk. Yeah.
Oh man, so many things come to mind.
Oh, we know what Campfire S'mores is, so we're not worried about that.
Yeah, we know what that one is.
Yeah, we know what that one is. Yeah, it looks like a small shop that's got a lot. I'm picturing this shop and like the vape part of it is like in the back. It's like a 4 foot by 4 foot section. And that's it. It's like just a window that you go to like at the DMV. You just pick a number. They are having a sale. They're having a sale on $70. $70. I feel bad for them because I'm sure they put everything they had into these shops. And this is a trend that we're seeing though, right, Allison, as far as these shops that are closing, they're moving into the CBD products and trying to stay
Oh
afloat.
yeah, I mean, the moving in and adding like Delta products in our shop made up for the lost revenue from, the vape apocalypse.
Yeah, the vape apocalypse. So I mean, I think we have one shop here at Modesto that is quite like this. I mean, you basically got to walk through all the glass and the rest of the stuff
See, we
before
don't carry any of that. We carry some
Yeah.
hardware, but we don't have it like that. It's not. To me,
Yeah.
that's more like a head shop feel than a vape shop.
Yeah, because we have another one that's kind of like, well, it's a head shop, but it's high end shit. There's no glass. It's all heat and burn stuff.
That's what we have. A couple of those kinds of items, like the Luca seahorse thing. But I mean, that's just for like the dabs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's 2 hours. Anything we want to add before we head on out of here, Timmy? Anything?
No, I'm good, man. I think
Holy shit!
I think I've talked my face off.
I think that fucking hamster started spinning again there for a second, then stopped.
Gerbil.
No, don't.
Not a hamster, gerbil.
I heard you have to freeze them first. Never mind. I'm not going to go into that whole thing. No, we're not going to go into that. Paul, anything? Just a quick goodbye would be, I mean, nothing special.
No, nothing special from me. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Allison, I've just had a very crazy week.
Yeah, I know. You've been. You could do a whole show on just your week.
No, you won't. No, you won't. I've been in court.
Allison, anything you want to add to THR? Just what we talked about today? Nothing.
No, just if you're trying to quit smoking, keep trying.
That's trying. Never quit. Don't forget about vaping. It may be way down at the bottom of your list. You'll eventually get there. We hope, and give it a try and stop listening to the ain'ts. That's all I got to say. Anything else? Goodbye. Goodbye. We'll see everybody next. We'll see everybody next Wednesday. Same time, same channel, same place.
Oh, I won't.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'll be on a flight next week, so no.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm off to the field of dreams.
But you will be going live on the show, right? You'll be
Yeah. We're broadcasting the summit now, and possibly we can do some rebroadcasting so we can get it on a few more platforms. It's going to be very interesting.
I can see Paul on the fucking beach drinking a Mai Tai, fucking vaping and doing a show live.
Considering the venue, no.
Yeah, keep your shirt on. All right.
Well, okay. Well, it's at the Manila Hotel, the actual conference, and it's rather upmarket. So apparently I've got to be in a suit most of the time.
Oh, no, I mean like future shows here when summer starts to hit there for you in Australia. I can see you doing a show on the beach.
No.
Making us suffer like fucking. I mean, I don't know. Tim's areas get snow, but I think yours does, right, Allie? You get a little bit of snow? No, not you either, huh? Okay, so yeah.
No, I'll just go fishing with you guys and go live from wherever I'm fishing.
Yeah,
sitting on a boat drinking a beer.
Yeah, there you go. Foster's. All right, guys, we are out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your week, and we'll see everybody Wednesday. Peace out.
Peace.